Hello you guys, and thank you so much for tuning into my video. I know I've been away for a little bit, but that's because I've been working on my own mental health, trying to make sure that I'm in a good space, you know what I mean? But I just wanted to make a quick video. I'm hoping it'll be a quick video, but I wanted to make a video about the pathology of down-low men. So in the transgender dating world, when you're a transgender woman especially, there are different types of men you encounter. We all know about the chasers, we all know about like trans amorous men, and we know about down low men. Now I want to specifically focus on the pathology of down low men and why it's essential for us as transgender women to stop giving them our time. We need to stop giving these guys any sort of time because they're dangerous. They are essentially dangerous in our community. So let's first talk about what is a down low man. What does it mean to be a down low man? So the term down low is actually, it's a slang term, you know what I mean? And down low means that you're hiding something essentially. Now, I'll give you an idea of the type of men that are down low. These are often men who perform masculinity in a way that is very typical to society. A lot of times they actually overcompensate. You know what I mean? Like, I've met a lot of down low men who go over and above. You know, they'll have like the sagging pants, like the caps. They'll be dressed in a very urban, very like macho, very aggressive kind of way. And what's interesting about down low men is that not only do they sleep with transgender women, but yes, my sweetheart, they also sleep with men. They also sleep with gay men. More often than not, they are essentially dipping their dicks everywhere. So when we talk about down low men, they are essentially the most derelict men in society. Let's just face it, because you have a group of men that needs the world to see them as the alpha male. And the way that they do this, and there's a reason I call them the most derelict group of men in society. The reason they perform masculinity in the way that they do is so that no one could ever think that they're into the girls. The other thing that they do that really frustrates me is that they often make fun of either transgender women or gay men. They often heckle us the most and the loudest. And the easiest way to pick up on a down low man is when you're walking in the streets, he will be the one who's the loudest, the most aggressive, and the meanest to you. And he does that to sort of protect himself from you. Make it make sense. So he will be in a group of friends, there'll be like 17 of them. You will be vulnerable and alone by yourself walking. And he will be the one yelling and screaming obscenities at you. He may even get violent. Down low men are notorious for being violent. I mean, they're the ones that essentially kill us. And I'll get to that at the end of the video, why I say the things that I'm saying. So it's very important for a down low man to preserve his idea of masculinity. It's very, very, very important to him to preserve his idea of heteronormativity. Now, it's funny, I've had a lot of encounters with down low men who will say something demeaning or they'll insult me in some type of way, but they'll do it in a way that is almost flirtatious. They'll do it in a way that lets you know that, hey, I'm looking. And the reason they want to do that is it's very, very important for down low men to have a trans woman in their, to sort of have a trans woman who is broken down. Because having somebody who is broken down, beat down, and depressed, it's easier to control that person. And the mind of a down low man, all they want to do is control you. And they do this in different ways. They can become abusive very, very fast. In fact, more often than not, they're abusive from the beginning because they don't see us as women, and they never will. They never, ever, ever, ever will see us as women. They see us as men in costume, and they hate themselves for wanting to be with us. So that means the only way they can sort of like make sense or make peace with the situation is by treating you poorly. So, down low men, they're often, a lot of them are often younger. A lot of them are often in their 20s, 30s, and my experience with down low men, I remember I was seeing this one guy, I don't even remember what his fake name was because I've talked about him before. We're going to call him Jacques. So, you know, I meet Jacques on Tinder, and we all know that on Tinder, people don't actually read your bio. You can write on your bio, transgender woman, and the guys will not read that, and they act surprised, you know, when you tell them. So, you know, I see a picture of him, and I swipe, you know, right, and, you know, we start talking, and he seemed like a pretty cool guy. He seemed like a pretty nice guy. But I knew that he didn't know. Despite the fact that I had it all over my bio, I knew he didn't know. So he wanted to sort of come over and take me out, and then we were going to spend the day together. But I remember telling him, like, listen, dude, I don't know if you know, like, I don't know if you've read my bio, but I am a woman of trans experience, and I need you to know that so that you don't waste your gas or your time or my time. Now, when he read that, he responded very quick, and he said, no, that's cool, I completely understand. Tell me why when he comes, when down low men face you, or when they encounter you, or when they talk to you, they're often very, very aggressive, or they're often, bruv, it's almost like they don't want to talk to you, or like they're angry at you for something. And I'm like, bruv, be angry at your dick for pointing its direction in my its direction in my way. Be angry at your member, bruv. Don't be angry at me. So, you know, I was still young. I hooked up with this dude, and I'll admit, you know, we had fun, and as soon as we finished, he wanted to run up out of there. And I was cool with that because I was like, you're not my boyfriend. It was a Tinder hookup session. Bye. So I would have been cool with that. I would have been cool with him and me just hooking up the one time and then it never happening again. But that's not how their minds work. Once, because you need to understand, they know that we're a minority, an absolute minority. They know that the only access that they will most likely ever have to us is through Pornhub. Like, let's be realistic. They're not gonna meet up with a trans girl. It's almost impossible to meet a transgender woman. I'm sorry. Like, we're a minority. So they know that we're like rare. So what they do is they keep you interested by making you believe like something could happen. But the weird thing is, the mindset of a down low man is that his intention is for you to be his sex toy, essentially. Is for you to be his hidden pleasure pillow that he keeps, for 4 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. That's what he wants from you. And in order for him to do that, they need to, essentially, down low men need to break down our self-esteem. So what they do is, they often talk about how masculine we are. They may often be short with us. They may gaslight you. And even when it's just you and him, and you're sort of having a moment, he'll come up and say something crazy. Or my favorite type of down low man is the one who's all sweet before he sleeps with you, but as soon as he finishes, oh, it's a different story. He's basically pushing you out of the window because he doesn't want anybody to see you. Now, I think the mistake that we make as transgender women, and the mistake that a lot of gay men make that deal with down low men, the mistake is that we think that we can change them. We think that if he only got to know me, if he spent more time with me, he's eventually going to see that I'm more than just sex, and he's going to be absolutely in love with me. So what then happens is you have a situation where the transgender woman, or in some cases the gay man, is jumping through hoops, jumping through all of these hoops, trying to impress, Travion or Dijon or whoever these down low men are. And it never works. It never works. It always leaves you feeling used. It leaves you feeling angry. It leaves you feeling bitter. And I see this all of the time. Like, I've spoken to girls, trans girls, who are dealing with these types of men. And, they'll be crying over the phone talking about, how he says A, B, C, and D. And I'm like, girl, leave him. Leave him, because if you continue on this path of destruction with this boy, two things could either happen. He will leave you high and dry with your self-esteem shut and cut up into pieces, I promise you. Or he'll leave you dead. Now, the mistake that we make is that, we give these men time. They act up, or they act the fool, or they compromise our self-esteem, and yet we still give them time. And when they're no longer interested, what happens? What do we do? Oh, we put them on blast. Look, I know that it's childish of me to put anybody on blast. I know that it's not the right thing to do. But in that moment, when a man has humiliated you time and time again, when essentially a man has used you as a cum dumpster, when he has hidden you from all of his friends, family, and come to find out he has a whole baby and a wife and a girlfriend, that hurts. I'll never forget with the one down low guy that I was dealing with, and I've only ever dealt with two, and please God, I pray that those will be the only two that I ever deal with. So with the one down low guy that I was seeing, some of his friends knew, but it was still very much a secret. It was a secret he did not want coming out. And he went on to date other girls. And I remember he dated this one girl who was, much, much bigger than me. Much, much bigger than me. She was, like a voluptuous, heavy-set woman. And I just remember thinking to myself, I may not be the prettiest bitch on the planet, but I have that bitch beat. I have that girl beat. And it actually, you might think that it made me feel good to know that, I was more attractive than the girl that he chose over me. It didn't. It absolutely didn't. What ends up happening is that you end up feeling like, or you end up knowing that the reason that he left you is because you're transgender. And the reason you were rejected is because you were transgender. Nothing to do with your personality. Nothing to do with your appearance. Simply the fact that you're trans is why he's rejecting you, despite the fact that he is the one who ran to you. And that hurts. It makes you question yourself, and it makes you angry, and it makes you want to expose this man so that people can see. And what ends up happening is these guys they tweak. They're often specifically down low men. I'm not speaking about all trans amorous men. I'm talking about down low men that are secretive and cowardly in their actions. I mean, look, at the end of the day, like, what do we expect to get from down low men? They are, in many cases, and I'm not trying to be mean, I'm really, really not trying to be mean, but a man who is going to keep you hidden because he's afraid of what that means about his own sexuality. That is, like, those are the most derelict men in society. I call them the most derelict men in society because they end up killing us. They literally end up killing us. They can't leave us alone. And then when the secret's found out, you end up losing your life. So I think as trans women, especially for these baby trans, because I think so many of us starting our transitions, we don't always see, we don't see the red flags. We think it's a carnival. The red flags are literally all over there, and you think it's a carnival. No. No, girl. No. Trust me. The minute a man keeps you a secret, the minute a man wants you to, like, duck and dive, even though the windows are tainted, the minute a man only wants to see you at midnight, and you have to have a full face of makeup on, and he hasn't even washed his dick, there is something wrong with that. He needs to take you to dinner. I mean, for me, I think I went through, like, Jacques, like, obviously I dealt with Jacques, and then there was that druggy Swede that I was, like, dealing with. But after those two encounters, I was good. And I'm almost embarrassed to say that it took two encounters for me to realize that these men really are no good. That it took two encounters with down low men for me to prioritize my safety and my self-esteem over having sex with them. And that's what it is, because they're not going to offer you, girl, listen to me. I'm not yelling at you, but I'm telling you, they're not going to offer you anything outside of sex. Do you understand? Good. They're not going to offer you anything outside of sex. They're not going to date you. You're not going to be on any profile picture. And essentially, they might put your life in danger. So, I just want y'all to learn from my mistakes. You know, I made so many mistakes in believing all of these guys and being naive and believing everything that they said. Whereas in reality, they really, they were never for me. And they're not for you. And I just want us to, you know, as we move through our transitions, I want us to move through with caution. I want us to be safe. I love you guys. I promised you a short video, and I lied. Y'all know I am the most talkingest bitch ever. Like, but I love you guys, and I just want you to be safe. Bye.